about past experiences is a crucial part of a product design and UX design recruitment process. One of the most popular questions is tell us about your worst project. It's a tricky question to answer because usually we prefer to talk about success stories that put us in a great light. Today I would like to share the guidelines with you on how to answer this question and what mistakes to avoid so that you can prepare in advance and stay confident during the meeting. The key to success is to be transparent about what happened and focus on the learnings from the project. Don't try to cover your mistakes or blame others because people don't ask about your worst project to find about the shortcomings of your design craft. Instead, they want to learn if you're able to analyze the mistakes and take action towards improvement. I would like to introduce you to explanation, conclusion, action model to help you answer this question systematically. Step 1, explanation. Tell the story honestly. Talk about the project from start to finish, but be brief. Introduce the problem that you were solving, who was involved, planning and execution. Then move forward to talking about why it was your worst project. Talk about the negative impact it had on you, company and the team. Focus on key moments, what caused the problems, when you and your team noticed, and what the consequences were. Do not blame only others, instead objectively reflect on what you and your team could have done better. Step 2, conclusion. What was the root cause of the problem? Identify why the mistakes happened in the first place. Imperfect systems, lack of communication, some personal problems of the team members, maybe lack of skills. Then move forward to talking about how you could avoid it. Try to analyze if it was possible to avoid the mistakes with the information that you had at this point in time. If you could go back in time, what would you do differently knowing what you know today? Step 3, action. What did you do to prevent you and your team from making the same mistake in the future? As we stated at the beginning, the goal is to show that you're able to analyze your mistakes and prevent them from happening again. Have you analyzed the situation as a team, for example, during the retrospective? How did you and your team improve the processes to avoid making the same mistakes in the future? Mention it if you've documented those changes. Have you shared your learnings with others in the company? Have you seen any improvement after implementing learnings from this failed project? Did the changes make a positive impact on the team and future projects? When talking about all these details, make it clear what your initiative was and what actions you took specifically. Now I would like to share with you 2 example answers so you can better understand how to implement the explanation, conclusion, action framework. You can find the link to the Notion page with those examples below this video in the description. The first project is about a new sign-up flow. Let's go through the first steps of the explanation. Why this was your worst project? The outcome wasn't as expected. We've impacted the conversion in a negative way with a new sign-up flow. Now let's go through the story with key moments. What caused the problem? Tight timelines and high confidence in a new design solution made the team agree to skip the usability testing. When you and your team noticed, a week after introducing the changes, when we saw the conversion drop. What were the consequences? Minus 40% in conversion and additional work to reverse the changes. We didn't have the time to redesign the solution and test it with users, so we're back to square one, the previously implemented sign-up flow. Now let's take a look at step 2, conclusion. The root cause was the lack of usability testing to detect the issues. And the third step, action. I propose to add a rule that we have to incorporate usability testing in the design process for the key flows of the application, even if we have a high perceived confidence in the design solution. And the highlight here about sharing the learnings is that I've also shared our negative experiences with the sign-up flow during the company meeting to educate others on why the newly introduced rule was important. Now let's take a look at the second project, the customer request. Step 1, explanation. Why it was your worst project? The project went over deadline and we've lost a customer to whom we promised the improvements. The story with key moments. What caused the problem? Tight timeline and creeping scope. We didn't research the technical aspects well enough before committing to the deadline. When you and your team noticed. After the first sprint, we've noticed that there were more obstacles than we initially expected. It took us 3 extra weeks to find a scalable solution. What were the consequences? We lost the customer to whom we promised those changes. The team felt demotivated and disappointed. We lost the trust of our sales team. Moving on to the step 2, conclusion. The root cause was that we didn't research the topic well enough before committing to the deadline. And the highlight here about what would you do differently is looking back, we should have asked for some extra time for research. It would have caused less negative impact to wait a week for our decision than suffer the consequences of not delivering the feature. And step 3, action. Our team talked to the sales team leader to establish a good practice of asking for engineering time before committing to a deadline. And another highlight about sharing your learnings is we've also created a template for all future requests that includes engineering research. It is not an obligatory activity, but serves as a reminder for all the teams that requesting the extra time is possible and encouraged. Today's challenge is to think about 1 or 2 projects that you can classify as the worst and prepare your answer for the interview question using the explanation, conclusion, action framework. Don't forget to share your projects in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.